You are not separate from the power you seek. Energy is your servant, ready to shape the world around you. In this audiobook, you will uncover the ancient truth that mystics knew. Energy follows consciousness. The universe awaits your direction. Energy is your servant. Introduction. The force you seek has never wandered from you. It has been whispering through every breath, every heartbeat since the first moment of your becoming. This eternal energy, ancient and ever-present, has waited in silence for your remembrance. It is not a treasure to be won, but a truth to be unveiled, woven into the sacred thread of your being. When you awaken to the knowing that consciousness commands energy, and energy bows to consciousness, you unlock the hidden key to all that is. This is the sacred principle known to mystics, prophets, and sages, passed not through words but through inner realization. They were not chosen. They simply remembered what you are now ready to remember. The universe moves by law, laws as exact as the stars' orbits, as faithful as dawn. These laws answer not to hope or fear, but to the quiet certainty of aligned thought. Your thoughts are not shadows. They are currents vibrating across the unseen fabric of creation. In each breath, you stand at the still point of limitless becoming. Energy does not heed your longing. It reflects your being. This is why the ancients spoke of becoming rather than desiring. For what you are, the world becomes. This power now stirring in your awareness is not a judge nor a gift. It is the silent servant of your intention. Like fire awaiting the spark, it waits upon your command. When you claim this sacred partnership with energy, you are no longer a seeker. You become a sovereign creator. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. Part 1. The Recognition of Your Hidden Partnership. Chapter 1. The Sleeping Partnership Within. In the bustling marketplace of an ancient city, Clarence wandered between stalls with an empty bowl, pleading for coins from passing merchants. His clothes were tattered, his feet bare against the dusty stones. Yet around his neck hung a small leather pouch, passed down through generations of his family, which he had never thought to open. One day a mysterious traveler paused before him. Instead of dropping coins in Clarence's bowl, the stranger's eyes fixed upon the pouch. "Why do you beg," the traveler asked, "when you carry such wealth?" Confused, Clarence touched the familiar pouch. The stranger gently took it, loosened its strings, and poured a cascade of diamonds into his palm. Clarence had carried untold riches every day of his life, believing himself poor. Within you flows an energy more precious than all the diamonds of the earth. This force, the very same that ignites stars and orchestrates the dance of atoms, courses through your being in every moment. It is not something you need to seek or earn. Like Clarence's pouch of diamonds, it has always been with you, waiting only for your recognition. Most walk through life unaware of this sleeping partner, this infinite creative force that stands ready to transform their existence. They search outside themselves for power, for abundance, for fulfillment, never realizing they carry the source of all creation within their own being. In a small village among rolling hills, Martha the weaver sat at her loom each day. For years she struggled to create her tapestries, forcing each thread into place with grim determination. Her work was adequate but lifeless. Then one morning something shifted. As her hands moved among the threads, she felt another presence, a gentle force that seemed to guide her fingers. Instead of fighting with the threads, she began to dance with them. Her tapestries transformed, taking on a luminous quality, that drew admirers from distant lands. When asked about her secret, Martha would smile and say, "I stopped weaving alone. Now I partner with the invisible force that already knows the perfect pattern." The sacred recognition practice. Place your hand upon your heart. Feel the warmth beneath your palm. This is not merely the beating of your heart. It is the pulse of universal energy flowing through you. Breathe deeply and acknowledge this force that has always been present, waiting for your recognition. Speak these words: "I acknowledge you, my eternal partner. I am ready to dance with the creative force within me." Let this moment mark the beginning of your conscious partnership with the infinite. Chapter 2: The Ancient Deception. In an age long past, King Theodore ruled a magnificent realm from a golden throne. His kingdom stretched from snow-capped mountains to emerald valleys, and his wisdom brought prosperity to all. Yet one fateful night, dark sorcerers crept into his chambers and wove illusions around his mind. When Theodore awoke, he saw not his royal reflection, but the face of a beggar staring back at him. For years thereafter, Theodore wandered his own kingdom in rags, begging for scraps beneath the very palace where his throne sat empty. His subjects, who would have given him anything he desired, passed him by without recognition. The sorcerer's spell had not changed his true nature, only his belief about who he was. You too have forgotten your sovereignty. The greatest deception ever perpetrated was not theft of material wealth, but of your awareness of what you truly are. You have been taught to see yourself as separate from the creative force that shapes reality, when in truth you are its conscious expression in physical form. This energy does not merely flow through you, it awaits your direction. Like a master conductor before an orchestra, you stand at the helm of cosmic forces. Your thoughts, your intentions, your conscious will are the baton that guides this universal symphony. Yet you have been convinced to believe yourself powerless, a mere observer of life's unfolding rather than its conscious creator. In a village forge, young Samuel cowered from the flames that leapt and sparked before him. Each day he approached his work with fear, seeing fire as a dangerous enemy to be fought and subdued. Until one morning, when an old master smith visited the forge, he took Samuel's trembling hands and guided them through the air above the flames, showing him how to feel the fire's rhythm, its pulse, its desire to create. "The flame is not your foe," the master explained, "but your eager partner in creation. It wishes to dance with you, to transform raw metal into works of beauty. Your fear makes it wild, your understanding makes it sing. To reclaim your forgotten sovereignty, stand now before a mirror. Look deeply into your own eyes and speak these words with the authority that is your birthright. I recognize and reclaim my true identity as a conscious creator, working in partnership with universal energy. The spell of powerlessness is broken. I step into my role as a conscious director of creative force, here to shape reality in alignment with the highest good." Chapter 3: The First Awakening. In the rolling hills beyond the ancient city, Ezra tended his flock beneath vast starlit skies. Night after night, he sang the melodies taught by his grandmother, songs so old their words had been forgotten, leaving only their haunting tunes. One evening, as his voice carried across the silent hills, he witnessed something extraordinary. The stars themselves seemed to descend, drawing closer as if pulled by the thread of his song. The heavens danced to his melody, and in that moment Ezra understood that his voice created invisible bridges between earth and sky. The universe speaks the language of vibration. Your thoughts are not mere electrical impulses confined within your brain. They are waves of energy that ripple through the quantum field, touching the fabric of reality itself. Each thought you think broadcasts a unique frequency, creating patterns in the unseen dimensions that surround you. These patterns attract energies that match their vibration, drawing to you experiences that mirror your inner state. Your emotions amplify these broadcasts, sending powerful signals into the universe. Joy, gratitude, and love emit high frequencies that naturally attract more circumstances to feel joyful about. Your words carry even greater power, for they are thoughts shaped by intention and given voice. When you speak, you literally send forth waves of creative energy that begin shaping reality before any physical action is taken. In a valley not far from where Ezra sang to the stars, there lived a gardener named Grace. Her small plot had always yielded modest harvests until she discovered a remarkable truth. One morning, instead of merely watering her plants, she began speaking to them with genuine love and appreciation. Day by day, her garden transformed. Flowers bloomed with unprecedented vigor, vegetables grew abundantly, and even the soil seemed to glow with vitality. Grace's garden became known throughout the region as a paradise, though few understood its secret: that her loving attention and conscious intention provided nourishment as essential as water and sunlight. Grace's discovery mirrors a fundamental truth. Your consciousness extends far beyond the boundaries of your physical form. Your focused awareness touches everything around you, influencing the very field of energy from which physical reality emerges. The Quantum Awareness Exercise. Find a quiet space and set aside 10 minutes. Begin by observing your current emotional state. Now deliberately think of something that brings you joy. Notice how your energy shifts instantly. Think of something that causes worry. Feel the immediate change in your vibration. Return to thoughts of gratitude and peace. Watch how each thought creates an instantaneous, energetic response within you. This simple practice demonstrates the real-time power of consciousness to shape energy, the first step in mastering your creative force. Chapter 4: The Language of Partnership. In the quiet halls of a prestigious music conservatory, Nathaniel sat before a grand piano, his fingers hovering above the keys. Though born without hearing, he had discovered a profound truth. Music lived not in the ears but in the soul. As his hands touched the instrument, vibrations traveled through his bones, speaking in a language deeper than sound. Through feeling alone, he composed symphonies that moved audiences to tears, proving that the universe's song requires no words to touch the heart. This ancient wisdom whispers to you now. Energy communicates through feeling, through the subtle sensations that arise in your body when truth resonates within. The universe speaks not in English or any human tongue, but in frequencies that your being naturally understands. Every shiver down your spine, every unexplained knowing, every moment of synchronicity. These are messages in the cosmic conversation you've been participating in all along. Your body serves as an exquisite instrument, calibrated to receive and interpret these energetic broadcasts. That flutter in your stomach, that warmth in your heart, that sudden clarity in your mind, these sensations form the alphabet of universal communication. When you learn to trust these signals, you discover that guidance flows constantly, steering you toward alignment with your highest path. In a small village, Rose sat at her workbench surrounded by fabrics and threads. For years, she had struggled to create garments that matched the visions in her mind. One day, exhausted from trying, she surrendered to the quiet. In that stillness, her hands began to move of their own accord, guided by an unseen rhythm. The garments that emerged possessed a beauty beyond her conscious design, each stitch placed perfectly, each fold falling naturally into divine patterns. Through Rose's experience, you glimpse a fundamental truth. Partnership with universal energy flourishes in the space beyond thought. When you release the mind's constant planning and controlling, you open yourself to the subtle guidance that has always flowed through you. The energetic dialogue practice: sit comfortably and close your eyes. As you inhale, feel gratitude filling your being, acknowledging the life force that sustains you. With each exhale, release a clear intention into the universe. No words are needed, simply feel your desire radiating from your heart. Continue this breath cycle for several minutes, establishing your first conscious conversation with the universal force. This simple practice initiates you into the ancient language of energy, opening a channel of communication that transcends ordinary speech. Chapter 5: The Great Reversal. In the vast expanse of the ocean, Captain Henry stood at the helm of his ship, his weathered hands gripping the wheel as storm clouds gathered on the horizon. For 20 years he had fought against nature's fury, viewing each tempest as an enemy to be conquered. Yet on this day something shifted within him as he watched the dance of the winds across the waves. Instead of tensing against the approaching storm, he began to observe its patterns: how the wind spoke through the ripples on the water, how the clouds moved in rhythmic swirls, how the very air carried messages of what was to come. In that moment of surrender, he discovered that the elements were not his adversaries but his guides, offering wisdom through their ancient choreography. You too stand at the helm of your life, believing yourself at the mercy of forces beyond your control. Yet this perception exists only because you have forgotten the true nature of your relationship with universal energy. This force that you have resisted is not your opponent, but your most loyal ally, waiting for you to recognize its partnership. When you shift your understanding, everything changes. The energy that seemed to work against you reveals itself as the very power that manifests your desires. Your emotions become not reactions to circumstances, but conscious broadcasts that shape reality. Your thoughts transform from passive observers to active creators, directing energy with precise intention. In a concert hall across the city, Eleanor sat before her piano, fingers trembling above the keys. For months, she had struggled with Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, forcing each note through sheer will. One evening, exhausted from the battle, she closed her eyes and simply listened to the silence between the notes. In that space, she felt the music already existing, waiting to flow through her hands. As her fingers began to move, she no longer played the piece. She became the vessel through which the melody expressed itself. The struggle vanished, replaced by an effortless dance between pianist and piano, between artist and art, between consciousness and creation. Through the partnership declaration ceremony, you now formalize this profound shift in understanding. Stand in a quiet space, feet planted firmly on the ground. Place one hand on your heart and extend the other outward, palm up. Speak these words with conviction. I release all beliefs of powerlessness. I claim my role as a conscious creator, working in harmony with universal energy. As I provide direction through my intentions, energy provides the power of manifestation. We are partners in creation, now and always. Chapter 6: The Sacred Recognition. In the heart of an ancient city, Chester sat in his workshop surrounded by hundreds of ticking clocks. Each timepiece marked the passing moments with mechanical precision, yet something deeper stirred within him. As his aged hands adjusted the delicate gears of his latest creation, understanding dawned like the first rays of morning light. The clocks weren't measuring time, they were dancing with it. Each tick resonated with the eternal pulse of the universe, and through his conscious presence, Chester wasn't merely marking time, but participating in its flow. His workshop became a sacred space where past, present, and future merged into one infinite moment of creation. This revelation mirrors your own position in the grand tapestry of existence. You are not merely an observer of reality, but a conscious participant in its unfolding. Every thought that crosses your mind sends ripples through the quantum field. Each emotion emanating from your heart broadcasts a frequency that shapes the very fabric of your experience. When you step into full awareness of this truth, you recognize that you have never been separate from the creative force of the universe. Your consciousness is the instrument through which infinite possibility takes form. Your focused attention is the lens through which energy crystallizes into matter. In a small bakery across town, Violet stood before her oven, watching loaves of bread rise to golden perfection. For years she had followed recipes with exacting precision, yet some days her bread possessed a quality that transcended mere ingredients. One morning, as she kneaded dough with thoughts of blessing those who would eat it, she felt energy flowing through her hands. The bread from that batch brought tears of joy to her customers' eyes. Children asked for extra slices, saying it tasted like love. Through this experience, Violet understood that her consciousness wasn't confined to her mind. It flowed through her hands into the dough and touched everyone who partook of her creations. Sacred Observer Meditation. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Feel the energy field surrounding your body. Now think of something that brings you joy. Notice how your energy field expands and brightens. Think of something that causes concern. Feel how your energy field contracts. Return to thoughts of joy and observe the immediate shift in your vibration. Through this practice, you witness firsthand how your consciousness directs energy, proving that you are indeed the choreographer of your reality's dance. Chapter 7. The Invisible Sculptor. In the heart of a mountain village, Franklin spent his days in communion with marble. Each morning, he would stand before a pristine block, his hands hovering over its surface, feeling the energy pulsing within the stone. While others saw only solid rock, Franklin perceived infinite forms waiting to emerge. One day, as his chisel touched the marble surface, understanding flooded his being. The statue wasn't emerging through his carving. His vision and intention were calling forth the form that already existed within. His tools merely cleared away what concealed the perfection waiting to be revealed. Just as Franklin shaped stone through focused intention, you shape the energy of your reality through every thought, feeling, and conscious choice. The universe presents itself as pure potential, an infinite block of marble containing all possibilities. Your attention acts as the chisel, your intention the guiding vision, and your emotional energy, the force that brings forth specific experiences from the field of all potential. When you understand this truth, you recognize that circumstances don't simply happen to you, they emerge through you. Every relationship, every opportunity, every challenge takes form through the sculpting power of your consciousness. In a quiet corner of the valley, Iris tended her garden with this same wisdom. She noticed that identical seeds planted in identical soil yielded vastly different results depending on where she focused her attention. The plants that received her loving awareness grew more vibrant, their flowers more abundant. One morning, as she watched sprouts breaking through soil, Iris realized she wasn't just growing plants. She was conducting an orchestra of energy through the instrument of her consciousness. Seeds that received her focused attention flourished while others remained dormant, teaching her that awareness itself nurtures manifestation into being. Your consciousness works in the same way, drawing forth specific experiences from the field of infinite possibility through deliberate attention. Like Iris with her garden, you are constantly nurturing certain potentials into manifestation, while others remain as dormant seeds. The reality-shaping visualization invites you to become the conscious sculptor of your existence. Each day, dedicate 15 minutes to sitting in quiet contemplation. See your desired reality with crystal clarity. Feel it, touch it, inhabit it completely. Let your emotional energy soften the clay of possibility, while your focused intention carves it into precise form. Through this practice, you learn to shape energy with the same precision that Franklin shaped stone, calling forth your chosen reality from the infinite marble of potential. Chapter 8. The River of Intention. In the fertile valleys of an ancient land, Walter labored each day in his fields, struggling to coax life from parched earth. Though water flowed abundantly through nearby streams, his crops withered under the relentless sun. One morning, as he watched the meandering path of a stream, understanding dawned within his heart. The water held no preference for its course. It simply followed the channels carved into the earth. With patient dedication, Walter began crafting irrigation channels, directing water's natural flow to where it was needed most. As his crops flourished, he realized a deeper truth. Just as water follows the paths he created, the universe's life force flows through the channels of intention. Your desires manifest through the same principle. Every intention you hold carves a pathway in the energetic realm, creating a natural flow toward your chosen destination. When you maintain clear, emotionally charged intentions, you establish powerful currents that draw your desires into physical form through an irresistible magnetic pull. High above the coastal cliffs, Pearl kept her vigil in the lighthouse tower. Night after night, she tended the flame that guided ships safely to harbor. In moments of solitude, she contemplated the nature of her work. Her beacon didn't create the ships that appeared on the horizon. It simply provided unwavering guidance that allowed them to find their way home. Through years of service, Pearl understood that her steadfast light acted as a constant call to vessels seeking safe passage. Those ships already existed, already sailed. Her beacon simply created the conditions for their successful arrival. Your intentions work in precisely this way. Like Pearl's lighthouse, they broadcast a steady signal into the universe, attracting the opportunities, relationships, and circumstances that resonate with your focused energy. Success comes not from forcing manifestation, but from maintaining clear, consistent intention that guides your desires safely to shore. Sacred Intention Ritual. Take a new piece of paper and write your deepest desire with absolute clarity. Feel the emotion of its fulfillment as you write each word. Carry this written intention with you daily, allowing it to remind you of the energetic channel you're creating. Each time you touch this paper, feel the power of your intention strengthening, deepening the riverbed through which universal energy flows toward your manifestation. Chapter 9. The Forgotten Science. In the hushed confines of his laboratory, Professor Aldrich stood bewildered before his quantum measurement devices. For 30 years he had conducted experiments with unwavering precision, yet something inexplicable was occurring. On days when his spirit soared with optimism, particle behavior shifted dramatically compared to times of frustration or doubt. The numbers couldn't lie. Consciousness itself was influencing matter at its most fundamental level. The veil between mind and matter grows ever thinner as science peers deeper into reality's fabric. What mystics have whispered through millennia, quantum physics now demonstrates through rigorous observation. Consciousness shapes the material world through direct energetic interaction. The double-slit experiment reveals particles behaving differently when observed, while studies in morphic resonance show how thought patterns create energetic fields that influence physical reality across space and time. You stand at the convergence of ancient wisdom and modern discovery. The meditation masters who spoke of mind over matter weren't sharing mere metaphors. They had glimpsed the quantum nature of reality through direct experience. Their practices weren't based on blind faith, but on systematic observation of consciousness-energy interactions that science now validates through sophisticated instruments. In her small cottage among flowering herbs, Hazel prepared remedies as her grandmother had taught her. Each plant was harvested with reverence, each tincture blessed with focused intention. While other herbalists created similar preparations, patients reported that Hazel's medicines carried unique potency. The difference, she discovered, lay not in technique, but in consciousness. Through careful documentation, Hazel noticed her remedies proved most effective when prepared in states of deep meditation and loving intention. The same herbs, handled with identical physical care, but without conscious blessing, demonstrated measurably different healing properties. Her grandmother's insistence on prayer during preparation wasn't mere superstition. It was quantum mechanics in action. The Consciousness Matter Protocol. Choose a simple physical process to observe, perhaps 2 identical plants or containers of water. For 21 days, direct focused loving intention toward one while maintaining neutral awareness of the other. Document any changes with photographs and measurements, noting how your conscious energy affects physical matter. This experiment bridges the mystical and scientific, proving through direct experience that consciousness shapes reality in measurable ways. Chapter 10. The Point of Partnership. In the early hours of dawn, Jasper stood at the edge of an ancient stone bridge, its weathered surface stretching across an impossibly deep ravine. The familiar marketplace lay behind him, while untold mysteries beckoned from the distant shore. With each step across the bridge, awareness flooded his being. This crossing marked more than physical distance. The old world of limited thinking grew distant, replaced by expanding vistas of possibility. You now stand upon your own bridge of transformation. The recognition of your partnership with universal energy creates a crossing point from which there is no return. Like Jasper, you've glimpsed truths that dissolve the illusion of powerlessness. Each realization forms another step, carrying you further from the shore of unconscious living toward the realm of infinite potential. When energy responds to your conscious direction, when synchronicities align with your intentions, when circumstances shift to match your focused awareness, you enter territory that forever alters your understanding of reality. Limitation transforms from an imposed boundary to a chosen focus, like an artist selecting specific colors from an infinite palette. In her small workshop, Mabel discovered a single golden thread among her usual materials. As she wove it into her first tapestry, the entire piece began to shimmer with otherworldly light. Each subsequent work she touched with this thread underwent the same magnificent transformation. Yet the true magic lay not in the thread itself, but in how it awakened her to possibilities that had always existed, waiting to be recognized. Your awareness of energy's responsive nature is your golden thread. It transforms every aspect of life it touches, revealing the luminous potential hidden within ordinary moments. Like Mabel, you cannot unknow this truth or return to crafting a life without conscious partnership with universal forces. The Partnership Commitment Ceremony. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Light a candle to represent the eternal flame of consciousness. Place your hand upon your heart and speak these words. I acknowledge the awakening that has occurred within me. I recognize my role as a conscious partner with the creative force of existence. I commit myself to this sacred collaboration, accepting both the power and responsibility it brings. As I cross this threshold, I release all limiting beliefs that no longer serve my expanded awareness. I step fully into my role as a conscious creator, working in harmony with universal energy to manifest the highest good for all. So it is, and so it shall be. Extinguish the candle, knowing that this ceremony marks your conscious crossing into a new realm of being. Part 2, The Cultivation of Conscious Co-Creation. Chapter 11, The Inner Compass. Captain Rutherford stood at the helm of his ship as storm clouds devoured the stars above. Lightning struck the compass, shattering it into fragments. The navigational charts dissolved in rain, leaving him without familiar tools to guide his vessel through treacherous waters. In that moment of apparent loss, he felt a gentle tugging in his chest, an inexplicable knowing that pointed the way home, more precisely than any magnetic needle. Your emotions operate as nature's most sophisticated guidance system, far more nuanced than any mechanical instrument. Like waves upon the ocean, they reveal the underlying currents of energy flowing through your life. Joy rises as a beacon, illuminating paths aligned with your highest purpose. Fear and anger emerge not as enemies to be conquered, but as faithful messengers, highlighting areas where energy has become blocked or distorted. When you learn to read these emotional signals, you gain access to an internal navigation system that never fails. Excitement expands your energy field, showing you directions rich with potential. Anxiety contracts your being, warning of paths that lead away from your true course. Peace settles in your body when you align with universal flow, while restlessness stirs when you resist life's natural current. Along the ancient trade routes, Opal traveled from city to city, her cart laden with precious goods. Traditional merchants relied on well-worn maps, but Opal discovered a different way. Standing at crossroads, she would close her eyes and feel the subtle pull of energy emanating from each path. The road that sparked lightness in her heart invariably led to prosperous markets and welcoming customers. Those that felt heavy or dull often concealed bandits or barren towns. Through Opal's wisdom, you recognize that intuition reads the invisible threads of energy woven through existence. Your feelings serve as an ever-present compass, detecting currents of possibility that logic alone cannot perceive. When you honor these subtle signals, you navigate life's choices with increasing precision and grace. The emotional navigation practice. Keep a small journal with you throughout the day. When you interact with people, make decisions, or engage in activities, pause to notice your emotional response. Record 3 things. Pay special attention to moments of natural joy and ease. These mark the direction of your highest path. Notice also what triggers resistance or heaviness, as these reveal where energy needs to be redirected or released. This practice strengthens your partnership with universal energy by teaching you to read its language through the wisdom of your own heart. Chapter 12. The Breath of Partnership. In the silence of dawn, Brother Augustine knelt in prayer within the monastery garden. For years, he had followed the traditional practices until one morning, As sunlight pierced through morning mist, he noticed how his breath created visible patterns in the air. With each inhale, golden light seemed to flow into his being, while each exhale carried away shadows he hadn't known he carried. Your breath holds the key to conscious partnership with universal energy. It serves as the most intimate bridge between your intention and the creative force that shapes reality. Each breath cycle opens a portal through which you can draw in the frequencies of your desires and release the patterns that no longer align with your highest path. The process begins with awareness. Notice how your breath already moves energy through your body without conscious direction. Feel how deeper breaths naturally elevate your frequency, while shallow breathing restricts energy flow. Your lungs act as bellows, not just for oxygen, but for life force itself. In her workshop beside the sea, Cordelia stood before the glowing furnace, where glass turned molten. Other artisans crafted beautiful pieces, but Cordelia's works seemed to capture light itself. Her secret lay not in technique, but in breath. As she gathered molten glass on her pipe, she breathed her intentions into each piece: love, joy, healing, abundance. Those who received her creations often spoke of feeling these qualities emanating from the glass, as if she had captured something of heaven on earth. Through Cordelia's art, you glimpse the true power of conscious breathing. Just as she infused glass with specific qualities through intentional breath, you can infuse your reality with chosen frequencies through each mindful inhale and exhale. The sacred breath sequence. Find a quiet space and comfortable position. Begin by focusing on your natural breath. Then, through this rhythmic breathing, you establish a clear channel between consciousness and creation, between intention and manifestation. The number 3 represents the trinity of thought, energy, and form, while 9 cycles complete the sequence of transformation. Chapter 13. The Sacred Rhythms. In the fertile valleys of an ancient land, Farmer Cornelius tended his fields as generations had before him. Yet his harvests remained meager until the night he observed how moonlight made his crops dance differently through each phase. When he aligned his planting with the waxing moon, his seeds burst forth with unprecedented vigor. During the full moon, transplanting yielded sturdy roots. As the moon waned, pruning encouraged robust growth. Through patient observation, Cornelius unlocked a truth known to the ancients, that energy flows in sacred cycles, offering windows of amplified power for those wise enough to work within nature's rhythm. You too exist within these cosmic cycles. The same force that pulls tides and guides migrating birds pulses through your being, creating moments of heightened manifestation power when properly understood. These are not mere coincidences, but precisely orchestrated rhythms that have governed creation since time immemorial. The new moon phase opens doors for planting fresh intentions. The waxing period accelerates growth and building energy. The full moon amplifies completion and revelation. The waning phase supports release and clearing. By aligning your creative work with these natural currents, you transform struggle into synchronicity. In a small village by the sea, Luna attended births for over 30 years. Through careful record-keeping, she noticed patterns that changed her practice forever. Babies came more easily during the full moon, when nature's pull opened the way. Mothers who understood these rhythms learned to flow with them, experiencing smoother deliveries than those who fought against nature's timing. Luna's observations revealed that life itself moves in waves, periods of intense activity followed by necessary rest, expansion followed by integration. Your creative power multiplies when you honor these natural cycles. Fighting against them depletes energy needlessly, while flowing with them allows manifestation to unfold with grace. The universe offers you a dance, not a battle. When you attune to its rhythm, creation becomes a joyful partnership rather than exhausting effort. The Cosmic Timing Practice. Begin a moon phase journal, noting the phase each day along with your energy levels, manifestation progress, and intuitive clarity. After one complete lunar cycle, patterns will emerge showing your personal windows of amplified creative power. Use these insights to schedule important actions during your peak phases, while using lower energy periods for reflection and planning. This ancient practice reunites you with nature's wisdom, transforming your manifestation from random effort into rhythmic co-creation. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Purification Gateway. In the heart of an ancient valley, where springs whispered secrets from deep within the earth, Millicent spent her days seeking water. Not content with shallow wells that ran dry in summer heat, she learned to dig beyond the obvious layers, past the silt and stone that most diggers mistook for bottom. One day, after clearing away particularly stubborn debris, she struck a vein of water so pure it seemed to sing as it emerged. In that moment, she understood. The sweetest waters lay beneath the accumulated layers of time. The same principle governs your partnership with universal energy. Just as pure water cannot flow through clogged channels, energy cannot move freely through consciousness cluttered with limiting beliefs, inherited patterns, and emotional residue. These accumulated layers act as barriers, filtering and distorting the pure creative force trying to express through you. Each thought that whispers impossible, every inherited belief that suggests not worthy, and all emotional wounds that cry not safe, create energetic blockages. These obstructions don't just affect your conscious mind, they permeate your entire energetic field, creating resistance patterns that redirect universal force away from your true desires. Yet purification need not be arduous. Like clearing a well, it simply requires patient, persistent attention to what lies beneath the surface. As you identify and release each limiting belief, you create space for pure creative energy to flow naturally through your being. In a grand cathedral across the sea, Tobias restored pipe organs to their original glory. His greatest discovery came not from technical manuals, but from understanding that each pipe required thorough cleansing before it could carry its true note. A single speck of dust could alter the tone, while accumulated grime might silence a pipe entirely. Only when every tube was immaculately clean could the full majesty of the music emerge. Your consciousness operates similarly. Each thought pattern, each emotional frequency, each belief system acts as a pipe through which universal energy flows. When these channels remain cluttered with doubt, fear, or inherited limitations, the pure tones of creation cannot sound clearly through your being. Begin your purification journey with the energetic purification ritual. Each week, identify one limiting belief that dims your creative power. Perhaps it's, money only comes through hard work, or love always leads to pain. Sit quietly and visualize this belief as dark smoke within your energy field. Breathe deeply, and with each exhale, watch the smoke dissolve into light. Affirm, I release all beliefs that limit my true potential. I am a clear channel for universal energy. Continue until you feel a subtle lightness, signaling the belief's departure. Chapter 15. The Magnetism of Clarity. In a dimly lit workshop filled with half-finished contraptions, Edison sat quietly each morning before touching his tools. Within his mind's eye, he witnessed his inventions already complete, functioning with perfect precision. Through this practice, he discovered that the clearer his inner vision, the more swiftly reality aligned to match it. Components that seemed impossible to find would appear through unexpected channels. Solutions to technical problems would emerge in dreams, and collaborators with exactly the right expertise would cross his path at precisely the right moment. Vision, when crystallized through unwavering focus, becomes a magnetic force that shapes the very fabric of reality. The universe responds not to vague wishes, but to crystal-clear intentions held with emotional conviction. Every detail you add to your vision creates another point of attraction, drawing the elements of manifestation into perfect alignment through the law of resonance. This truth extends beyond material creation. It governs every aspect of manifestation, from relationships to opportunities to personal transformation. The more precisely you can see, feel, and embody your desired reality, the more powerful your attractive force becomes. Yet clarity requires more than mental pictures. True vision engages every sense, awakens deep emotional resonance, and aligns with your soul's highest purpose. In a sun-filled studio across town, Evangeline discovered this same principle through her portraits. Her breakthrough came when she realized that her finest works emerged not from looking at her subjects' outer features, but from seeing clearly into their essential nature. Only by perceiving the light in their eyes, the story in their smile, and the truth of their spirit, could she create paintings that seemed to breathe with life. Through her art, Evangeline learned that true clarity means seeing through the eyes of the soul. When you envision your desires, you must look beyond the surface to understand the deeper calling within them. Why does your heart yearn for this particular manifestation? How will it serve your highest evolution? What qualities of being will it awaken within you? To harness this magnetic power of clarity, begin the vision crystallization technique. Take sacred time each day to write detailed descriptions of your desires, engaging all 5 senses. See the colors, hear the sounds, feel the textures, taste the sweetness, and smell the fragrance of your vision made manifest. Create vision boards that capture the essence of your desires, but go beyond images to write powerful statements that evoke the emotional resonance of living your dream. Hold nothing back. The more precise and emotionally charged your vision, the stronger its magnetic pull on universal energy. Chapter 16, The Guardian Practice. In the heart of an ancient kingdom stood a magnificent castle where Sir Galahad served as gatekeeper. Many assumed his role centered on keeping danger at bay, yet through years of service he uncovered a deeper truth. His true purpose was not to bar entry wholesale, but to discern which visitors would enhance the castle's harmony and which would disturb its sacred balance. Through patient observation, he learned to read not just appearances, but energies. A humble pilgrim might carry wisdom that would elevate the entire court, while a richly dressed merchant could harbor intentions that would poison the kingdom's spirit. This understanding transformed his role from mere defender to conscious curator of the castle's energetic atmosphere. Your mind operates in much the same way as Sir Galahad's gatehouse. Each thought, emotion, and influence seeking entry affects the energetic frequency of your inner kingdom. When you allow fearful thoughts, limiting beliefs, or toxic influences past your gates, they lower your vibration and weaken your partnership with universal energy. Conversely, when you consciously welcome thoughts of abundance, love, and possibility, you maintain the high-frequency environment essential for powerful manifestation. In the grand library of an old monastery, Prudence discovered this same principle through her work, preserving ancient manuscripts. At first, she saw her role as simply keeping books safe from dust and decay. But as she studied the texts in her care, she realized that protecting these treasures meant ensuring their wisdom remained pure and potent for those who would seek it in years to come. She learned to create perfect conditions, controlling temperature, humidity, and light, so the book's essential teachings remained clear and accessible. Through this devotion, she understood that protection served creation rather than limitation. By carefully curating what touched these sacred texts, she enabled their transformative power to endure. Just as Prudence preserved her library's wisdom, you must guard your consciousness with loving attention. This doesn't mean building walls against life, but rather developing discernment about what you allow to take root in your mind and heart. Every thought you entertain, every emotion you nurture, and every influence you accept shapes your energetic field and affects your manifesting power. Begin your guardian practice with the Consciousness Guardian meditation. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Observe your thoughts as they arise, like visitors approaching your inner castle gates. Notice each thought without judgment, simply witnessing its quality and intention. Does it serve your highest good? Does it align with your desired creation? Choose consciously which thoughts to welcome into your inner sanctuary and which to graciously turn away. Practice this meditation daily, strengthening your role as guardian of your energetic realm. Chapter 17. The Alchemy of Feeling. In a dimly lit chamber filled with mysterious vessels and ancient scrolls, Master Albertus labored over his lifelong quest to transform lead into gold. For decades, he had followed precise formulas passed down through generations of alchemists, yet success eluded him. One night, after another failed attempt, he noticed how his frustration seemed to affect the metals themselves. They appeared more resistant, more stubbornly fixed in their base nature. In that moment of awareness, Master Albertus realized that the true transformation he sought wasn't merely physical. It began within his own being. He discovered that when he approached his work with joy and wonder, the metals seemed more responsive, more willing to shift their essential nature. His greatest breakthrough came not from a new formula, but from learning to transmute his own inner states first. Your emotions are not obstacles to be conquered or enemies to be vanquished. They are raw materials awaiting transformation through the alchemy of conscious awareness. Each feeling that arises carries potent energy that, when properly understood and directed, becomes fuel for manifestation. Fear, when alchemically transformed, becomes excitement for possibility. Doubt transmutes into curiosity about what might be discovered. Anger, properly channeled, becomes determination that drives you toward your goals. This emotional alchemy requires neither suppression nor uncontrolled expression, but rather a conscious partnership with the energy each feeling contains. When you learn to transmute rather than resist your emotional states, you access tremendous power for creation and transformation. In her perfume workshop, Magnolia spent years trying to create only pleasant, harmonious scents. Yet her masterpiece emerged only when she dared to blend seemingly opposing essences, bitter and sweet, earthy and ethereal. She discovered that the most captivating fragrances contain both light and shadow, each note contributing to a complex whole greater than its parts. One day, while combining an especially bitter herb with a sweet flower essence, Magnolia understood that beauty emerges not from avoiding contrast, but from transforming it through artful combination. This revelation changed not just her perfumes, but her entire approach to life. She began to see every challenging emotion as an essential ingredient in the complex fragrance of human experience. Through Magnolia's wisdom, you learn that emotional mastery means neither rejecting nor being ruled by your feelings, but rather learning to transmute them into higher expressions through conscious alchemy. Each emotion becomes an opportunity for transformation, a base material waiting to be refined into spiritual gold. Begin your practice of emotional alchemy through the emotional alchemy technique. When a challenging emotion arises, place your hand over your heart and breathe deeply. Visualize the emotion as raw energy, perhaps dark, dense, or heavy. With each breath, imagine this energy being refined and purified, transforming into golden light that fills your being. Name the higher expression you wish to create. Fear becomes excitement. Doubt becomes curiosity. Anger becomes determination. Continue breathing and visualizing until you feel the shift in your emotional state. Chapter 18: The Harmony of Vibration. In the Grand Concert Hall of Vienna, conductor Bartholomew stood before his orchestra, each musician a master of their instrument, yet something was missing. Despite their individual brilliance, the music failed to touch the soul. One evening, as he sat alone in the empty hall, he heard a group of street musicians playing outside. Though their technique was simple, their music carried a magical quality that moved him to tears. In that moment, he understood. True power comes not from individual excellence, but from perfect resonance between all parts. When he returned to conduct, he no longer focused solely on technical precision, but on creating a unified field of harmony where each instrument contributed to a single, coherent vibration. The music transformed, and audiences spoke of experiencing something beyond mere sound. They felt transported by the pure energy of unified purpose. Just as an orchestra creates magic through coherent frequencies, your manifestation power multiplies exponentially when all aspects of your being vibrate in harmony. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions must resonate at the same frequency, creating a clear signal that cuts through the noise of everyday existence. When your mind thinks abundance while your emotions sing lack, you create discord that weakens your creative force. In her mountain workshop, Celeste crafted bells known throughout the land for their extraordinary resonance. For years, she focused on perfecting each component separately: the metal's purity, the shape's precision, the clapper's weight. Yet her bells achieved their legendary status only when she learned to tune all elements in relationship to each other. One day, while testing a new bell, she noticed how its sound changed depending on the alignment of its parts. A slight adjustment to one element affected the whole. Through patient observation, she discovered that transcendent sound emerged only when every aspect of the bell vibrated in perfect harmony with all others. Through Celeste's artistry, you learn that manifesting your desires requires similar attention to the alignment of your entire being. When your thoughts, feelings, and actions resonate at the same frequency, you become like one of her perfectly tuned bells, broadcasting a clear, powerful vibration that draws your desires to you with magnetic force. Begin the coherence alignment practice by placing your hand over your heart and breathing slowly and deeply. As you breathe, generate genuine feelings of gratitude for something in your life. Feel how this appreciation creates a warm, harmonious vibration in your chest. Allow this coherent energy to expand, synchronizing your thoughts and emotions into a single, pure tone of intention. Maintain this unified state for 5 minutes, feeling how all aspects of your being align into perfect resonance. Chapter 19: The Wisdom of Resistance. In the ancient valleys of the Yangtze, engineer Clarence spent years battling the river's mighty force. His dams and barriers stood firm against the waters, yet each spring floods destroyed his work. One morning, watching leaves dance upon the current, he witnessed how they flowed around rocks rather than fighting them. In that moment, his understanding shifted completely. When he designed his next water system, he studied how the river naturally moved, creating channels that worked with its flow rather than against it. His success came not from conquering the water, but from partnering with its inherent wisdom. The universe speaks through resistance. Each obstacle you encounter carries a message. Each setback offers guidance, and every challenge presents an opportunity for deeper alignment with energy's natural flow. When doors close before you, the universe isn't denying your desires. It's directing you toward pathways that better serve your highest good. Resistance reveals where you push against life's current rather than flowing with it. Like a river meeting a boulder, energy always finds its path, not by forcing its way through, but by discovering natural channels around apparent obstacles. Your task isn't to eliminate resistance, but to read its wisdom, understanding that opposition often protects you from misaligned paths while guiding you toward more harmonious routes. In her sunlit studio, Minerva stood before a block of marble, frustrated by its imperfections. The stone's natural veins and fissures seemed to ruin her planned design. Yet as she ran her hands across its surface, these very flaws whispered of different possibilities. Following the marble's natural patterns, she discovered a more beautiful form waiting within, one she could never have imagined on her own. The statue that emerged became her masterpiece, its beauty enhanced by the very characteristics she initially resisted. Through Minerva's journey, you learn that life's obstacles often guard hidden treasures. What appears as interference might actually be intelligence, guiding you toward unexplored possibilities that far exceed your original vision. The resistance dialogue practice invites you to approach challenges with genuine curiosity. When facing opposition, pause and ask, what wisdom does this resistance offer? How might this obstacle redirect me toward a better path? Sit quietly with these questions, allowing answers to emerge from within. Record insights in your journal, noting patterns that reveal where life's current naturally wants to flow. Chapter 20. The Dark Night of Awakening. In the depths of an ancient mountain, explorer Thaddeus faced the ultimate test of trust. His map showed a chamber of rare crystals deep within the earth, but reaching it required traversing a passage in absolute darkness where no torch could stay lit. For 3 days he hesitated at the threshold until he realized that his fear of darkness exceeded his faith in his own inner guidance. Taking a deep breath, he stepped into the void, letting his hands brush against the cool stone walls. With each step, his other senses heightened: the whisper of air currents, the subtle changes in temperature, the varying textures beneath his feet. When he finally emerged into the crystal chamber, he understood that the darkness had taught him to trust senses he never knew he possessed. Just as the physical world moves through cycles of day and night, your spiritual journey flows through periods of clarity and confusion, connection and apparent separation. These passages through darkness are not punishments or signs of failure, but essential phases of growth that deepen your partnership with universal energy. It is easy to trust when manifestations flow effortlessly and signs appear at every turn. True mastery develops when you maintain that trust through times of uncertainty and apparent silence. In her candle-making workshop, Temperance struggled against her craft's natural rhythm. She tried rushing the process, pouring layer upon layer of hot wax without pause. But her haste created only cracked and brittle candles. One winter evening, watching snow fall outside her window, she realized that nature never rushed its cycles. The finest candles emerged when she honored the cooling time between layers, periods of apparent inactivity that actually strengthened the whole. Through her patience, she learned that darkness served the light. Your partnership with energy requires similar patience and trust. When signs seem absent and manifestations slow, remember that deeper forces are at work. These apparent voids are not empty, but pregnant with possibility, asking only that you maintain your practiced connection to universal force. The faith-anchoring ritual strengthens this unshakable trust. Each morning, sit in sacred silence and place your hand upon your heart. Breathe deeply while affirming, "I trust the perfect unfolding of universal energy, even when my eyes cannot see the path. I know that all apparent darkness serves my highest growth. I remain steadfast in my partnership with infinite power." Visualize yourself as a mighty tree whose roots grow stronger through storms, drawing nourishment from the dark soil of experience. Hold this practice especially dear during challenging times, letting it anchor your faith in the eternal partnership between consciousness and energy. Part 3. The Embodiment of Energetic Partnership. Chapter 21. The Throne of Co-Creation. In a distant realm, Princess Seraphina ascended to her throne amidst celebration and splendor. Yet as she sat upon the golden seat of power, watching her subjects bow before her, an emptiness echoed through her heart. For years she ruled as she thought a queen should, issuing commands, demanding obedience, wielding authority like a sword. But prosperity eluded her kingdom until one morning, while walking in the palace gardens, she witnessed a bee dancing with a flower. The bee took only what it needed while helping the flower flourish, creating abundance for both through mutual service. In that moment, Seraphina understood that true sovereignty flows not from dominion over others, but through conscious partnership with life itself. You stand now at a similar threshold of understanding. The energy that courses through existence awaits your conscious direction, not as a force to be commanded, but as a partner in creation. Every breath draws you deeper into this sacred responsibility, the power to choose between expanding or contracting the light within all things. This is not mere philosophy, but the practical science of conscious co-creation. When you align your will with the highest good, energy flows without resistance, manifesting realities that serve not only your growth, but the evolution of all life. Architect Solomon learned this truth through bitter experience. For decades he fought against natural laws, forcing his designs upon the land without regard for wind patterns, solar paths, or the flow of water. His buildings, though impressive, required constant maintenance and never felt truly harmonious. One day, while observing how trees grew naturally into the most efficient shapes for their environment, he realized that true mastery meant partnering with universal principles rather than imposing his will upon them. From that day forward, his creations emerged through dialogue with nature itself, resulting in structures that seemed to grow organically from the earth while serving their inhabitants perfectly. Through Solomon's journey, you recognize that your role as conscious co-creator carries both privilege and responsibility. The power to direct energy is not granted for personal gain alone, but for the upliftment of all life. When you accept this sacred trust, manifestation becomes not just about attracting desires, but about creating ripples of positive transformation that extend far beyond your individual sphere. The sacred leadership ceremony anchors this understanding. Find a quiet space and light a candle. Place your hand upon your heart and speak these words. I accept my role as conscious steward of universal energy. I commit to directing this power in service of the highest good for myself and all beings. Through my thoughts, words, and actions, I choose to create realities that uplift and illuminate. This is my sacred vow. Chapter 22. The Mirror of Mastery. In the bustling markets of an ancient trading port, merchant Isadora navigated her business with growing frustration. Though her ledgers showed profit, discord plagued her ventures. Suppliers arrived late, customers haggled aggressively, and her workers seemed perpetually discontent. One evening, after another challenging day, she noticed how the tension in her shoulders matched the strain in her relationships. As she consciously relaxed, breathing deeply and releasing her anxiety, an extraordinary thing occurred. The very next morning, her suppliers arrived early, customers smiled warmly, and her workers showed unexpected enthusiasm. Through this experience, Isadora discovered that her external world reflected her internal state with mirror-like precision. Your reality operates as an exquisite feedback system, responding to your energetic frequency with mathematical accuracy. Every circumstance, interaction, and experience serves as a living message from the universe, revealing exactly where you stand in relation to your highest potential. When you learn to read these signs, life becomes an open book written in the language of energy. Consider how water reflects your face with perfect clarity. So too does your external world reflect your internal state. When your energy flows in harmony with universal force, opportunities appear effortlessly, relationships deepen naturally, and even challenges reveal hidden gifts. Yet when your frequency misaligns with your true path, reality provides immediate feedback through friction, delay, and apparent obstacles. In a humble forge at the edge of town, blacksmith Orion spent years mastering his craft. Initially, he worked by rigid rules and measurements, often struggling to determine the perfect moment to shape his metal. Then one day he noticed subtle variations in the metal's color, how it shifted from bright orange to soft yellow, each hue indicating precise temperatures and optimal timing. Through patient observation, he learned that his materials communicated their readiness through nearly imperceptible signals. His greatest works emerged not from forcing the metal, but from reading and responding to its natural language. Through Orion's artistry, you understand that mastery in any domain requires developing sensitivity to feedback. Your relationships, work, and daily experiences constantly communicate the quality of your energetic alignment. A difficult conversation reveals where you hold resistance. A sudden opportunity shows where you've opened to flow. Even traffic patterns and weather seem to respond to your internal state. Though few recognize these subtle correlations, the reality reflection practice allows you to develop this sacred awareness. Each evening, review your day's events as though reading a personal message from the universe. Notice which experiences flowed smoothly and which created friction. Observe how your emotional state preceded external circumstances. Through this daily practice, you'll develop an increasingly refined ability to read and adjust your energetic frequency, using reality itself as your most trusted teacher. Chapter 23. The Healing Current. In a bustling hospital, Dr. Cornelius moved from patient to patient, meticulously following every medical protocol. Despite his expertise, recovery rates remained inconsistent until one transformative morning. As he rushed to treat an elderly woman, her peaceful smile stopped him in his tracks. Instead of approaching with his usual clinical detachment, he allowed himself to feel genuine love for her well-being. To his amazement, Her condition improved dramatically within hours. Through subsequent cases, he discovered that healing accelerated whenever he connected with patients through the heart rather than just the mind. The universe pulses with an eternal current of restoration, constantly seeking to return all things to their natural state of wholeness. This healing force flows through every atom, every cell, every living being, not as a distant power, but as the very essence of life itself. When you align with this current, you become a conscious channel through which universal healing energy flows effortlessly. Your role is not to generate healing, but to allow it passage through your being. Like electricity flowing through a copper wire, healing energy seeks clear channels through which it can restore balance and vitality. Every time you choose love over fear, acceptance over judgment, and trust over doubt, you become a clearer conduit for this divine restorative force. In a small cottage surrounded by healing herbs, Florence worked tirelessly creating natural remedies. Though her initial focus was on perfecting herb combinations, she noticed something remarkable. Identical preparations yielded different results depending on her state of mind while crafting them. When she infused her work with loving intention, patients reported profound healing experiences that transcended the herb's known properties. Through this discovery, Florence understood that consciousness itself acted as a healing agent, transforming physical matter through the power of energetic resonance. Through the healing channel meditation, you open yourself to this universal current of restoration. Find a quiet space and sit comfortably with your spine straight. Visualize pure, golden, healing light entering through your crown chakra, filling your entire being with radiant wholeness. Allow this energy to flow naturally to any areas within you that seek balance. Once you feel saturated with this healing presence, imagine it extending outward to others who might benefit from its touch. Remember, you're not forcing or directing the energy, but simply allowing it to flow through you as a willing channel for universal restoration. Chapter 24. The Abundance Frequency. High in a coastal lighthouse, radio operator Clarence sat before his equipment, methodically scanning frequencies through the night. For years, he'd believed his role was to generate signals, until a revelation transformed his understanding. During a particularly still evening, he discovered a channel filled with crystal-clear transmissions, one that had been broadcasting continuously, though he'd never tuned to it before. This frequency carried messages of such abundance and possibility that it changed his entire perspective. He realized he hadn't needed to create the signal. It had always been there, waiting for him to align his receiver to its precise wavelength. The universe perpetually broadcasts abundance on its own frequency. Like radio waves invisibly filling the air around you, prosperity consciousness saturates every moment of existence. You need not generate abundance any more than you need to create radio signals to hear music. Your task is simply to tune your internal receiver, your thoughts, emotions, and energy field, to the frequency where abundance naturally resonates. This attunement happens through conscious calibration of your being. Just as a radio must be precisely tuned to receive clear transmissions, your consciousness must be aligned to the specific frequency where abundance naturally flows. This alignment occurs not through striving or forcing, but through gentle adjustment of your internal state until it matches the prosperity consciousness that already permeates the universe. In her small bakery, Cordelia faced her own lesson in abundance principles. Each morning, she combined flour, water, and yeast, but her results varied dramatically. Through patient observation, She noticed that her most magnificent loaves emerged when she trusted the natural rising process rather than attempting to rush it. The dough expanded most beautifully when she created optimal conditions, proper temperature, humidity, and time, then stepped back and allowed its innate wisdom to work. Like Cordelia's bread, abundance follows natural laws of expansion. You cannot force prosperity any more than you can force dough to rise. Instead, you create the proper conditions in consciousness, gratitude, expectancy, trust, and allow universal abundance to flow through the channels you've opened through alignment. Through the abundance alignment ritual, you tune your consciousness to prosperity's frequency. Each day, sit quietly and feel deep gratitude for all the abundance already present in your life. Then, with eyes closed, emotionally experience your desired prosperity as if it already exists. Feel the joy, security, and freedom of your abundant life. Don't simply imagine it. Live it fully in your consciousness until this frequency becomes your natural state of being. Chapter 25, The Ripple Effect. Each night, lighthouse keeper Ezekiel climbed the winding stairs to light his beacon. Through clear evenings, he watched ships navigate safely past treacherous rocks, guided by his unwavering light. Yet on foggy nights when no vessels were visible, he maintained his vigil with equal dedication. One stormy morning, a captain visited to express gratitude, revealing that during the previous night's impenetrable fog, Ezekiel's beam had prevented a catastrophic wreck, though the keeper himself had seen nothing through the mist. Your partnership with universal energy creates effects far beyond your immediate perception. Like ripples expanding across a pond's surface, every conscious act of service touches distant shores in ways you may never witness. This truth liberates you from the need to measure or control your impact, allowing you to focus simply on maintaining your light with unwavering dedication to the highest good. When you align your unique gifts with universal energy in service to others, you activate a profound principle of spiritual physics. Energy directed toward others' awakening returns, multiplied to accelerate your own evolution. This is not karma or cosmic bookkeeping, but the natural expansion that occurs when consciousness flows in harmony with its highest purpose. In a small schoolhouse, Teacher Magnolia spent decades planting seeds of wisdom in young minds, never fully knowing which would take root. Years later, at a community celebration, she discovered that her former students had become doctors, inventors, and community leaders who transformed countless lives. One student, now a renowned humanitarian, revealed that a single conversation about human potential had inspired her life's work, serving others. Through Magnolia's story, you recognize that conscious service creates an infinite web of connection, touching lives across generations through channels invisible to physical sight. When you partner with energy to uplift others, you become a conduit for transformation that transcends time and space, creating effects that ripple outward eternally, while simultaneously deepening your own spiritual awakening. Begin the legacy creation practice by finding a quiet, sacred space where you can retreat from the world's distractions. Sit in peaceful contemplation and pose this profound question to the universe. How can my unique gifts serve humanity's highest good? Allow the whispers of divine wisdom to emerge in the silence, guiding you toward the specific actions that will perfectly align your sacred talents with humanity's deepest needs. Listen with your heart as much as your mind, for the answers often come as gentle nudges, inspiring images, or sudden moments of crystal clarity. Then, with reverent intention, commit to taking one conscious action each day that contributes to the collective awakening of all beings, while simultaneously nurturing the garden of your own spiritual growth. This sacred offering might manifest as sharing timeless wisdom with those who seek guidance, creating works of beauty that elevate the soul, solving problems that plague your fellow travelers, or simply radiating a loving presence that touches all those blessed to cross your path. Let each action, no matter how seemingly small, be infused with the pure intention of service, knowing that your light joins countless others in illuminating the path toward humanity's highest evolution. Trust that the universe will guide your efforts to exactly where they are needed most, even when the full scope of your impact remains hidden from view. Chapter 26: The Mastery of Presence. In the mountains of ancient Tibet, monk Bartholomew spent decades seeking enlightenment through elaborate visualizations of future spiritual attainment. Day after day, he projected his consciousness forward, straining to glimpse the awakened being he might become. Yet true revelation arrived unexpectedly one morning as he watched steam rise from his tea bowl. In that simple moment, fully absorbed in the dancing vapor, he experienced more spiritual power than in all his years of future seeking. The truth struck him like lightning. Enlightenment existed only in the eternal now. The present moment is the sole point where energy partnership becomes real. While visions of the future can inspire and guide, the actual work of co-creation happens exclusively in the now. Each instant contains infinite creative potential, waiting to be activated by your conscious presence. When you fully inhabit the present moment, you access a dimension where time dissolves and pure possibility reigns. This truth reveals why so many seekers struggle. They chase tomorrow's transformation while missing today's power. The universe responds not to what you plan to become, but to who you are being right now. Every moment offers a fresh canvas for conscious creation, unmarked by past limitations or future anxieties. Your power lies in bringing complete presence to each breath, each thought, each action. In the workshops of 18th century Switzerland, watchmaker Augustine crafted timepieces that seemed to capture eternity in their delicate mechanisms. Other artisans marveled at how his creations possessed an almost magical quality, keeping perfect time while radiating inexplicable beauty. When asked his secret, Augustine would smile and point to the tiny gear he was currently polishing. "The whole universe exists in this moment, in this piece," he would say. "I simply give it my complete attention." Through years of practice, Augustine discovered that presence transformed ordinary craftsmanship into sacred art. When he brought his full awareness to each component, every gear, spring, and jewel, the pieces seemed to arrange themselves in perfect harmony. He learned that mastery emerged not from thinking about the finished watch, but from total immersion in each step of creation. The Eternal Now practice invites you into this same state of creative presence. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths, allowing each exhale to draw you deeper into the present moment. Feel the weight of your body, the texture of the air, the subtle energy flowing through your being. Now bring to mind your desired future while remaining fully anchored in present awareness. Rather than straining toward tomorrow, allow your intention to infuse this moment with creative potential. Rest in the paradox of being completely here while holding a clear vision of what you wish to create. Practice this presence intention bridge for 10 minutes daily, discovering how the eternal now becomes your portal to conscious manifestation. Chapter 27: The Dissolution of Limits. At the edge of a vast desert, explorer Genevieve stood before an endless expanse of golden sand. Her maps showed nothing beyond this point, and conventional wisdom declared this the boundary of the known world. For days she camped at this perceived limit, believing her journey complete. Yet one morning, watching birds soar effortlessly across the impassable desert, she realized that boundaries existed primarily in human belief rather than natural law. The limits you perceive in your life mirror Genevieve's experience. Each boundary you accept as real exists first as an energetic construct in your consciousness, maintained by your continued belief in its power. These apparent barriers, whether financial ceilings, relationship patterns, or creative constraints, draw their substance not from universal law, but from your energetic investment in their reality. When you withdraw your faith from limitation, you dissolve the energetic foundation that gives these boundaries their seeming solidity. Like a mirage that disappears upon closer inspection, limitations reveal themselves as temporary constructs rather than eternal truths. Your task is not to battle against these boundaries, but to release your belief in their necessity. In his sun-filled studio, artist Jasper faced his own perceived limits. For months he struggled against creative blocks, his paintings falling short of his precise visions. Each attempt to control his artistic expression led to greater frustration until, exhausted by the struggle, he surrendered his rigid expectations. In that release, something extraordinary occurred. Creative energy began flowing through him with unprecedented freedom. His finest works emerged not from careful planning, but from allowing universal creative force to express itself through his willing hands. Through Jasper's experience, you glimpse the paradox of transcending limitations. The very effort to control outcomes often creates the boundaries you seek to overcome. True freedom emerges not from forcing your way through barriers, but from releasing your attachment to how things must unfold. The limitation release ceremony anchors this understanding in practical action. Find a quiet space and bring to mind a specific belief about what's impossible in your life. Feel the energetic weight of this limitation, how it constricts your sense of possibility. Now consciously begin withdrawing your energy from this belief, as though you are gathering back scattered fragments of light that you had unknowingly given away. Visualize yourself taking back the power you've invested in this boundary, reclaiming the divine essence that was always yours. With each breath, feel yourself dissolving the walls you once thought permanent. Declare with quiet certainty, I release my belief in this limitation. I open myself to possibilities that exceed my current understanding. Let these words resonate through every cell of your being, awakening dormant potential. Feel the expansion rippling outward as you redirect your energy from maintaining these illusory barriers to embracing the infinite canvas of possibility that has always existed within you. In this sacred moment of release, sense how the universe conspires to support your newfound freedom, bringing forth opportunities that were always present but previously unseen. Chapter 28. The Transmission of Light. In a grand concert hall, musician Evangeline sat before her piano, fingers poised above the keys. For years, she had pursued technical perfection, believing mastery lay in flawless execution. Yet one evening, lost in pure love for the music, she noticed something extraordinary. Audience members wept, smiled, and transformed before her eyes. The music carried more than melody. It transmitted the very frequency of her elevated consciousness. Through Evangeline's discovery, you glimpse a profound truth about energy partnership. Consciousness communicates directly through frequency, bypassing the need for words or actions. When you align with the highest vibrations of universal energy, you become a natural broadcaster of transformation, touching others through resonance rather than effort. This transmission occurs through what ancient wisdom traditions call the field of presence. an energetic sphere that extends beyond your physical form, influencing everything it touches through sympathetic vibration, like a tuning fork that causes nearby strings to vibrate at its frequency. Your conscious partnership with energy creates ripples of positive change in the lives around you. In his modest garden, Tobias noticed something peculiar. Plants nearest to where he meditated grew more vigorously than those he actively tended. Flowers bloomed more brilliantly, fruits ripened more sweetly, and even soil seemed richer, all without additional care. Through quiet observation, he realized his presence alone catalyzed growth more powerfully than any physical intervention. Tobias's experience reveals that elevated consciousness naturally uplifts everything within its field. Just as sunlight doesn't strain to warm the earth, your aligned energy radiates transformation without effort or intention. This effortless transmission flows from being rather than doing, touching others at levels deeper than conscious awareness. The light transmission practice develops this natural capacity. Find a quiet space and enter deep meditation, allowing yourself to fill with pure, radiant energy. Feel this light expanding beyond your physical form, creating a field of elevated frequency. Without strain or force, allow this energy to flow toward specific individuals or situations that could benefit from higher consciousness. Trust that this transmission works through resonance rather than will, touching others with exactly what they need for their highest good. This practice transcends the need to mend, alter, or restore others to wholeness. Your role is simply to sustain your highest vibrational state, becoming a pure vessel through which the infinite wisdom of universal energy flows. Like a pristine crystal catching and dispersing light, you serve as a conscious conduit for the transformative power that surrounds us all. As you attune yourself to these sacred frequencies, you naturally become an instrument of divine grace. Through dedicated practice and inner stillness, your energy field grows increasingly refined and transparent. Like Tobias's garden responding to his meditative presence, those within your sphere of influence naturally experience elevation without any conscious effort on your part. You become as the sun, radiating warmth and light indiscriminately, touching all with the gentle power of higher consciousness. Each day spent in this practice further clarifies your role as a transmitter of these elevated frequencies, frequencies that spark growth, facilitate healing, and kindle the flame of awakening in every soul you encounter. Chapter 29. The Eternal Dance. In a grand theater filled with expectant faces, dancer Ophelia executed each movement with mechanical precision. For years, she had cataloged every possible step, believing that perfection lay in complete control. Yet one evening, as the first notes filled the air, something shifted within her. Instead of forcing her body through memorized motions, she allowed the music to move through her, while maintaining her technical foundation. In that moment of surrender, her dance transformed from impressive to transcendent. Through Ophelia's journey, you glimpse the eternal nature of energy partnership. Like dance, this relationship with universal force never reaches a final destination, but continuously deepens through devoted practice and willing surrender. Each level of mastery opens doorways to greater possibilities, revealing that what you once considered the pinnacle was merely a plateau from which to glimpse new horizons. The creative force that flows through existence invites not completion, but eternal expansion. As your consciousness evolves, so too does your capacity to partner with this infinite intelligence. Each breakthrough becomes not an ending, but a beginning, each realization not a conclusion, but an invitation to deeper understanding. In his vast library, Scholar Aldrich surrounded himself with ancient texts and modern theories, believing wisdom lay in accumulating every possible piece of knowledge. Yet after decades of study, he made a startling discovery. True wisdom flowed not from memorizing others' insights, but from developing his own capacity to receive and apply universal truth through direct experience. His shelves of books became not endpoints of learning, but signposts pointing toward ever-expanding revelation. Through Aldrich's transformation, you understand that mastery of energy partnership means becoming an ever more refined instrument through which infinite intelligence can express. Each day offers opportunities to increase your receptivity while honing your ability to consciously co-create with this universal force. Journey Celebration Ritual. Sit in peaceful meditation, finding a quiet space where you can reflect undisturbed. Close your eyes and acknowledge your current level of mastery without criticism or self-judgment, seeing your progress as sacred steps along an infinite path. Feel profound gratitude welling up within you for every insight, every understanding, and every breakthrough you've gained thus far, while maintaining complete openness and receptivity to the deeper wisdom that awaits your discovery. Allow your breath to become slow and steady as you center yourself in this sacred moment. Feel the energy of the universe flowing through you, acknowledging how far you've come while knowing that infinite possibilities stretch before you. In this state of peaceful awareness, declare with quiet conviction, I celebrate my sacred journey of partnership with universal energy, knowing that each achievement opens golden doors to greater mysteries and profound revelations. I remain forever a devoted student of infinite intelligence, my heart and mind open vessels, ready to receive ever-expanding truth through my developing consciousness. With each breath, I embrace both what I have learned and what I have yet to discover. Let these words resonate through your being as you sit in the silence, feeling their truth anchored deeply within your soul. Know that this moment of acknowledgement serves as both a celebration of your progress and an invitation to continue expanding into greater awareness. Chapter 30. The Perfect Partnership. In the twilight of his reign, King Solomon sat upon his golden throne, contemplating the vast kingdom before him. Though his commands had built magnificent temples and amassed great wealth, true fulfillment eluded him until he discovered a profound truth. Authentic power flows not from authority over others, but through dedication to their flourishing. As he shifted his focus from commanding to serving, his kingdom transformed. The desert bloomed, commerce thrived, and his people achieved heights of prosperity previously unimagined. When you align your energy mastery with service to the greater good, you activate a divine principle of reciprocity. The universe responds to your dedication by opening pathways of evolution far beyond personal achievement. This partnership transcends manifestation for individual gain, embracing your essential role in the cosmic awakening of consciousness itself. Each thought, each intention, each act of conscious co-creation ripples through the fabric of existence. When you direct these ripples toward the benefit of all beings, you align with the very purpose for which consciousness exists, the endless expansion of love and possibility through willing instruments of universal good. In his humble workshop, master craftsman Theodore labored for decades seeking recognition for his artistry. Yet his masterpiece emerged only when he released all concern for reputation and dedicated himself purely to expressing beauty itself. As his hands shaped wood and metal, he discovered that serving the creative force rather than personal glory allowed that force to flow through him with unprecedented power. His works touched hearts and inspired souls in ways his ego-driven efforts never could. Through Theodore's transformation, you glimpse the paradox at the heart of energy mastery. When personal will dissolves into universal purpose, individual fulfillment arrives as a natural consequence rather than a strived-for goal. Perfect partnership emerges not from bending energy to your desires, but from allowing your desires to align with energy's highest expression. Sacred Unity Ceremony. Stand in a quiet place where you can feel the sacred energy of solitude enveloping you. With reverence, slowly raise your hands toward the infinite expanse above, palms facing upward in a gesture of both offering and receptivity. Let your breath deepen as you center yourself in this moment of Holy Communion. Speaking from the depths of your awakened heart, declare with unwavering conviction, I now dedicate my energy mastery to serving the highest good of all beings, surrendering my individual will to the greater symphony of universal purpose. I trust with complete faith that through this sacred service my deepest purpose naturally fulfills itself in perfect divine timing. Let my consciousness become a pure and willing channel through which universal love expresses its endless creativity and wisdom. As I serve all beings with devotion and grace, all of existence serves me in return, united together in one flowing dance of divine reciprocity. In this eternal moment, I merge my individual light with the infinite light of creation itself. Feel the resonance of these words vibrating through every cell of your being, sealing your commitment to this holy partnership between your soul and the cosmic consciousness that breathes through all things. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. You now stand transformed, no longer unconscious of your energetic nature, but awakened to your eternal role as conscious partner with the creative force that moves through all existence. The journey you have traveled through these chapters has changed you at levels deeper than thought or emotion. You have remembered your true identity as a being of infinite creative potential, partnered with unlimited universal energy. Where once you saw yourself as separate from the forces that shape reality, you now know yourself as their conscious collaborator, their willing dance partner in the eternal ballet of creation and manifestation. The practices you have learned are not mere techniques, but sacred tools that connect you with the deepest mysteries of existence, making you a bridge between the seen and unseen realms, the temporal and eternal dimensions of being. You can't unknow what you now know, nor would you wish to return to the illusion of powerlessness that once seemed so real and overwhelming. Every breath you take from this moment forward is an opportunity for conscious partnership. Every thought, a creative act. Every emotion, a frequency broadcast that shapes the reality emerging around you. The energy that flows through your being recognizes you now as its conscious partner, eager to respond to your clear intentions and heartfelt desires, ready to demonstrate again and again that you are indeed the master of your destiny in partnership with forces that exceed your wildest imagination. Go forward knowing that you carry within you the power to transform not only your own life, but to contribute to the awakening of consciousness itself. For you have become what the world most needs, a human being who remembers their divine nature and uses it in service of love. We are each streams within the great river of consciousness. If today's message flowed into your heart, may it continue its course through your words, your intentions, your presence. Share one realization or feeling in the comments. This simple act amplifies the current for us all. And if this space feels like home, you are invited to subscribe, not as a transaction, but as a joining of the stream. If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.